It is so fitting that we dedicate a meeting room on campus to the life and memory of Kathleen Buckley, my friend of many years, St. Lawrence University Chaplain, whose gift of leadership to this campus was extraordinary. Her leadership was about difference, making a difference. And in the end, that difference doesn't really matter much at all, because we are one human family. Kathleen's great gift to this campus was a ministry of hospitality. She made us feel welcome. She invited us to sit down around the table that we might reason together and know each other in the deep down places of the heart. This room will serve many hours and many conversations in the years ahead.
The Reverend Kathleen Buckley, not only did her infectious laughter and candy bowl draw people to her, but her depth of spirit and agile mind made room for everyone. She offered guidance and grounding to so many people, and she did it through hospitality, openness, and inclusivity. When Kathleen said all are welcome, she meant it. She was such a gifted leader. Here in the chaplain's office, we who worked with her every day, we watched how she handled conflict, always seeking reconciliation and definitely not seeing persons as enemies if they were on the other side of issues. She was dedicated to the students. She understood that some students and faculty and staff experience anxiety sometimes around exploring spiritual issues. She saw herself as a tether to those who were experiencing that kind of anxiety. She wanted folk to know that spirituality was accessible for everyone. And here in this chapel, I think about these stained glass windows and the chapel bells. They were so very dear to her. She did chapel bells tours and stained glass window tours and knew them deeply and intimately. I'm thinking about Kathleen's sayings. We called them the Kathleen-isms. She would say, "I'm not afraid of your pain." She would say, in her comical way, 4 feet around each chaplain is a guilt-free zone. The chapel is a guilt-free zone. You can't do this wrong. There were so many of them, and she was a tireless advocate around the issues of injustice, racism and sexism, religious intolerance, homophobia, xenophobia. The Buckley Room, I have to tell you, it's an absolute gift because I think of the community. I think of students and faculty and staff who are coming to St. Lawrence who won't experience her in the flesh. Her work and her passion, trust me, they are interwoven throughout this place. Her spirit is everywhere.
In dedicating a space on campus, we wanted to find a central location that would create a lasting connection between the chaplain's office and the student's body experience. And so the Student Center was the perfect spot. And Kathleen spent a lot of time in the Student Center working on a lot of diversity and inclusion projects. One of the projects she worked on was the Unity Project in 2016 with the Diversity and Inclusion Chair. And the Unity Project is a larger-than-life art collaboration on campus that speaks about the unity and the intersectionality of everybody on campus. And so it's her working on projects like these that made it more than evident that we needed to dedicate a space on campus for that.
Kathleen Buckley was an amazing person. Back in 2001, when she first joined the St. Lawrence community, there was very little programming for people from underrepresented identity groups on campus. But Kathleen's arrival changed all that. Under her leadership, the chaplain's office dedicated itself to the work of diversity and inclusion on campus. She created multi-faith advisor groups from a wide variety of faith identity groups to support the community. She hired Reverend Dr. Sean Whitehead, who created our weekly gospel service and our annual gospel workshop. She helped spearhead the SAFE Grant program, which provides resources and programming for members of our community who identify as LGBTQIA. She helped coordinate the campus health fair that provided STD testing and HIV screenings for members of our community. She has reached hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of community members with her open heart and giving spirit. She helped exemplify what it means to be an institution that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. And she's been recognized not just locally at St. Lawrence for her good works, but nationally and even internationally. She was recognized by the New York State Department of Health for her work in healthcare and AIDS prevention. She was invited to present her Building Your Own Beliefs program as a mentorship model at an international conference at Yale University. And most recently, she was acknowledged as a role model by Minority Access for her good work supporting members of our community from underrepresented identity groups. Kathleen has been an inspiration to all of us. She has helped make St. Lawrence be the place where, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, or what your perspectives or opinions are, you're welcomed at St. Lawrence and you're loved. And I can't overstate the critical importance of that message for an institution that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are so honored to recognize her with this dedication.